When my esteemed colleague and fellow retiree here called me a couple weeks ago with what he coyly described as a chance to get out of the house and expand my horizons a bit, I was intrigued. And when he went on to say that 20% of the proceeds would be going to charity,
with the rest being divided evenly between us,
I said, say no more. Just tell me two things. Where and when.
it was a very short conversation.
Long story short, here I am, making it in time, barely, thanks in large part to a police escort from LaGuardia. So please forgive me if I seem to be a bit out of breath.
Well, we're honored to have you and Dan here as co-hosts, Tom. It doesn't get any better than this, folks. Two retired legends of broadcasting working together for the first time ever at one of the premier shows of its type in the country and for a great cause in the United Friends of Nature Society. Just a picture-perfect evening here tonight. 72 degrees, clear skies.
May we have the working group in the ring, please?
And Tom, your timing couldn't have been more perfect as our first group emerges from backstage and comes into the ring.
You have 30 feet of cable to work with, and not only that, if you're traveling, simply roll the whole thing up and put it in your suitcase. Try doing that with a conventional playpen. And don't forget that conventional playpens can be very dangerous, with a child trying to climb out or sticking their head through the bars. It's almost like a cage.
Now, how close does he have to get to that perimeter before before the collar's activated?
Within a foot or two. Well, here, let's see if we can get Sean to help us out. Let me just activate the perimeter real quick. Hey, Sean, can I see your nice rattle? Can you give me the rattle? Give me the rattle. Give me the rattle. Give me the rattle. Give me the rattle, you little There you go.
Go get it.
Welcome aboard, Beatrice, and good luck. And our returning champion from last week, after the sudden and inexplicable disqualification of our other contestants, is Brad Dithers. Welcome back, Brad. Must be nice having an uncle who happens to be the vice president of a certain major television network.
That's all right.
Yeah, I bet it is.
When we come back, I'll be talking with former Secretary of Labor, Robert Reich, about the president's new stimulus package.
You know better now, don't you? Aw. Do you want your blankie? You want your blankie? Huh? No? Oh, you big baby.
And the first contestant up in the working group is Nibbles.
Racewell has been known to fight to the death with other animals.
This is a very handsome animal, the favorite to win in this group, and probably one of the favorites to win Best in Show.
In some cultures, Racewell is treated as sacred, holding an honored place in society.
And there we see Chip Hargrove, Nibbles' trainer. I'm sure he's a bit nervous right now, adrenaline flowing. You won't find a person who's more knowledgeable about squirrel behavior and psychology than Chip. And on top of that, he's really a great guy.
Down and back, please. Ladies and gentlemen, Chip Hargrove and Nibbles.
Richard, how important is the squirrel's gallop in the judging? Is the gait a part of the documented standard?
That's right, Brian. With momentum behind Social Security and tax reform waning, the White House today announced a bold new initiative it's calling Simpler America. A plan to simplify
Our next contestant is Rocky, an American Red owned and bred by Clark Ellison of Seattle, Washington, handled by Lisa Castelli.
Red is known for its ferocity and intelligence. It was used by the Allies during the First World War as an explosive delivery device.
Checking the animal's gonads.
Cunning and stealth.
That sound is what we call a warning bark, also known as a scolding. Judge Sterling needs to be careful here, as a scolding like that is sometimes a precursor. Oh, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
The lining is felt, so it won't cause any chafing.
It's not clear what these fixes will entail, but according to the president, the changes are long overdue. Now, the president expects strong resistance from Democrats and from critics like Nicholas Cavernelli, the head of the Department of Education, who called the proposed changes, quote, idiotic. Still, sources within the administration are expressing confidence that the president can push this controversial legislation through Congress before the end of his term. Brian? Yeah? I'm finished. It's your turn. Oh. When we come back, everyone enjoys eating out, but what extras are you getting with your meal that weren't on the menu? Our hidden cameras take you behind the scenes in restaurant kitchens across America to show you the kind of special attention your order may be getting. And later, those annoying milk crusties, minor nuisance, or silent killer. What you and your family need to know if you don't want to wake up dead. If you have less than perfect credit, with great caution, lest we become even more dependent on the very things we wish to... Is this tax cut going to mean anything to the so-called cable guy? The single 21 to 45-year-old male who's content with making just enough to pay his monthly cable bill? Maybe order takeout pizza a few times a week? Rent a couple of softcore pornos over the weekend? Might even still be living at home in his parents' basement? Yes or no? I can't say I've ever heard of that particular demographic. It's almost too depressing to even contemplate. But I will say that even those with limited ambition can benefit. What about the notion that this whole...
Found primarily in Europe, Africa, and Asia, this quill-covered insectivore is often confused with its distant relative, the porcupine. Brad. What is a porcupine? No, porcupine was in the clue. Beatrice. You said porcupine. Beatrice.
And we all know how expensive babysitters are. I mean, you add that to the cost of a movie and popcorn and a soda.